Hello, TEDxKL! Here's my latest song for you. Can you put your hands together? It's good. When I was 7 years old, I would imagine I was carrying pound chapters and blank sheets of paper. Didn't notice you were noticing me. Maybe you can sing to it. Sign me up for a class, 20 big sisters, and put me on the mountain and tell me to ride. What is this for? I asked and he told me if you wanna go far, get the things that you ride. Come on. You can do this. Come on, louder. And just like that, you let me smile. And just like that, you let me wondering why, oh why I have this piece of mind, like a violinist to sing, like a child on a garden swing. No matter what the line, you always have the time. You have the perfect rhyme. I remember the day you came home crying, so very mad at the first dance. Aren't you glad you surprisingly passed me? That is once a major grand. Come on. And just like that, you let me smile. And just like that, you let me wondering why, oh why I have this piece of mind, like a violinist to sing, like a child on a garden swing. No matter what the line, you always have the time. You have the perfect rhyme. You have the perfect rhyme. I won't forget that Monday morning, trading songs upon your bed, right there in the valley of the shadow of death. I'm not afraid, you said. And just like that, you let me smile. And just like that, you let me wondering why, oh why I have this piece of mind, to sing like a child on a garden swing. No matter what the line, you always have the time. Always have the time. You have the perfect rhyme. Come on, can I see some hands in the air? And just like that, you let me smile. And just like that, you let me wondering why, oh why I have this piece of mind, like a violinist to sing, like a child on a garden swing. No matter what the line, you always have, you have the perfect rhyme. Thank you. So there was once a man who served in the king's palace, and one day he received news that his hometown was in really, really bad shape. So he decided to take a trip back to where he came from. And upon arriving at his hometown, he discovered that the gates to the city were burnt, the walls were crumbling. Now the city was a total wreck. Now he was really, really disturbed, like deeply disturbed, but after looking around and sizing up the situation, he decided to gather the people who were living there, and he said, hey, look, we can't live like this. Let's end this disgrace. Let's build this wall together. Now what he did was, he got each person, each individual, to build just one little section of the wall. And so inspired by his leadership, they worked together side by side, sometimes in groups, sometimes in families. And they built that section of the wall that was before them, brick by brick. And on 2nd of October, 445 BC, the wall was completed. And all it took was 52 days. Now you might be wondering why I'm telling you this story. Well, I had a kind of a similar experience. Sometime last year, I was driving out to a meeting, and I heard this newscast on the radio, and it was, you know, a news flash of a typhoon and a hurricane that had lashed through the Philippines. Now, I don't know about you, but we hear this kind of news so often, right? Every other week there's a tragedy happening somewhere around the world. And it's so easy to not feel anything anymore, you know, until it hits close to home. But that was one of the rare occasions when I actually felt a rage welling up inside of me, this, you know, unexplainable rage. It was, I think, rage at lives lost, at futures and hopes, you know, crumbling. And suddenly it turned into a rage when I realized that we have got it so much better here. You know, but how often we squander the opportunity to be all that we can be. And then suddenly I heard a little voice within me that said, hey, you know, instead of letting this rage get the better of you, you know, why don't you channel all that energy into something positive? And I thought, positive? What can I do? I mean, like, you know, my phone is in Philippines. And I thought, I know, I can write a song. And so I wrote a song. It was a really slow, emo song that I will sing for you in a moment. And we released that song on 16th of September last year. I did not know how, you know, the people would respond to it. I did not know how the radio stations would respond to it. Because you never know, right? You put a song out there and sometimes people just hate it. But thankfully, the stations started playing, the YouTube hits started climbing, and we began to get a whole load of encouraging comments coming in from the public, people who had heard the song. And one day I stumbled upon a blog that said, this song, I swear, is about me. Now that moment, that statement brought me back to the moment when I realized that I wanted to sing songs that mattered. Again, I was driving, you know, to college. This was like way back, well, not so way back, but way back. I was driving out to college, and I was feeling like a complete failure. And then this song came on the radio. Some of you, if you're old enough, you might remember it. It goes something like this. Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I tell you, I could have sworn that song was about me. And in that moment, I thought to myself, wow, if I could do that, if I could sing a song that, you know, reached into the hearts of people tuning into the radio, you know, and connect with people out there, wouldn't that be something worth doing? Wouldn't that be something that, you know, I could do? And I really, really wanted to do that. Now, I didn't write my first song until 5 years on, and it has been an incredibly humbling journey, to say the least, especially when people come up to you and say, you know what, your song that you released 10 years ago brought me through a really, really hard time. And that is always a reminder to me that when you believe and you see a possibility, even the slightest possibility, but you start to work at it, by the grace of God, dreams do come true. Now, the other thing that I discovered about music is its power to connect and form bonds among people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different ethnicities. Just last month, I saw a post on Facebook by my friend Gideon, who lives in Kuching, and he was telling us about how he was going back to his hometown, which was Kapit, Sarawak, and he had some work that he needed to bring with him, to complete during his stay there. Now, to most of us, if you think about, bringing work back home, that's as easy as, picking up your MacBook or your laptop and, right, hopping onto an airplane or into your car, and that's it, that's easy as that. But for him, what it meant was lugging a 15 kg keyboard onto a boat, because that is how you get into the interior of Sarawak. You don't hop on an airplane. Now, miraculously, there was a Sabahan friend who recommended this little keyboard. It was, I think, around this big, this small, and had all the functions that he needed to do his work. Now, the only problem was, this keyboard was only available in Semenanjung, right, in Peninsular Malaysia. Now, another friend who had just met Gideon, just 2 weeks before that, said, hey, you know what, I'll go get that keyboard for you, and I'll deliver it to your mom, because Gideon's mom was taking a flight back to Kuching that very evening. And within 24 hours, we saw Instagram photos of a very, very happy Gideon hugging his brand new little keyboard. And as I looked at that account, of the story, what I realized was, oh my goodness, I know every name that was mentioned there in his story. All these people that had made them happen, I kind of knew these people firsthand, and I thought, how come, And then I realized that although these people did not, they didn't have the benefit of years and years of friendship, but they had met over music-related events that a few friends and I had organized. Now, to us, they were just isolated, events to bring people together for music, to make music. But in effect, what we had done, or what these events had done, was to, they were actually catalysts of relationships that built across the South China Sea. And it got me thinking, if something simple like that, can result in a 24-hour action like that, what if we did more of that? Or what if everybody did more of that? Now, I know that not all of you here today are music aficionados, but I do believe that each one of you does have something unique, something special that only you can do. And if you would just reflect and pause for a moment to think about what that is, to let the eyes of our hearts be enlightened, we could begin to rebuild those broken walls that are around us. And if there is something that is troubling you today, perhaps, just perhaps, that might be the very place to start. In the heart of sleepy towns, reminiscing old battleground, tempest rages, thunders roll, teardrops ricochet off the ground at the center of it all. So oblivious in your splendors, navel gazing, there you smile, shadow dancing to wild applause. Oh, beautiful, blessed dawn of innocence, sweet September, belle of the ball. You had it all, when did it fall into cold December? You're not that I remember, belle of the ball. You could still have it all. Aren't you tired of endless lives, empty promises,